What are the laws and regulations that protect the environment, including the water and the land and the air?
Well, big, the laws and regulations that protect the surrounding environment come from our Environmental Protection Agency. We weren't briefed too much on the laws. Those were given to us by our safety representatives and by the people who were further above us in the company. Chemicals was one of the big things. We were dealing with fuel. We were dealing with chemicals for drilling. We had a procedure in the event of a hazmat spill that we were to immediately stop operations, clean up the site. They had EPA representatives there on location to make sure we were following standards. As far as the regulations for air pollution goes, that's kind of sketchy. Given the fact we weren't really always in a very high populated area, I believe they were more lenient on that, but the same rules still apply. As far as coolants and refrigerants couldn't be openly dispersed into the air, it had to be in a contained environment. We didn't use too much of that though, so there wasn't a real big concern for as far as air pollution. Water pollution though was also a big concern because of the Marcellus Shale, the fracking, the methane gas and that was in the water. There were really tight precautions that were taken to make sure that the water sources were disposed of properly. As for example, drilling mud in no way was to be dispersed into the ground or let it be saturated into the earth. We actually had containers that we used to contain drilling mud. If there was a spill, we had vacuum systems on location spread throughout the whole site that were accessible at any time.
How often did you have a spill in your experience?
It all depended on the drilling conditions. It depended on the weather. There were so many different scenarios as far as spills. As far as as many times, it varied. When I was working there, we could have had anywhere from 2 to 3 spills a week. The size of the spill was variation. You could have spilled a gallon. I do recall at one point on one site we were filling up a truck with drilling waste and the fracking mud. We were filling up a truck and we overflowed the truck and it ended up coming up out of the top of the tanker. It spilled everywhere and it was close to about 40 gallons of drilling mud.
And that was a lot?
It was a lot. We were immediately told to stop operations, and I do believe they pulled just about everybody on location.
So in your experience, every time there was a spill, did they take good care of it?
They did. Their main concern was making sure that we abided by EPA regulations.